Perhaps you don't know that by the time you reach your 80s, you may have lost up to half of your muscle mass compared to when you were younger. Muscle loss, also known as sarcopenia, is a frightening condition affecting over 50 million older adults worldwide, robbing them of their independence. Even more alarming, weak muscles are a leading cause of falls, resulting in over 300,000 elderly hospitalizations each year. However, a shocking study published in the Journal of Physiology has disproved the idea that severe muscle loss is inevitable. In fact, some people in their 80s still maintain strength, function, and even an appearance decades younger. They climb mountains, play sports, and take care of themselves, while many others, half their age, struggle with simply standing up from a chair. These exceptional seniors are called superagers because they can fully maintain their independence well into their 80s and often outperform those half their age on strength tests. So, what's their secret? Up to 93% of older adults don't know which habits can significantly slow down or even reverse age-related muscle loss. Researchers at Mayo Clinic have uncovered these habits. According to researchers at Harvard Medical School, most doctors never share with their elderly patients the single most important habit that can help them regain lost muscle mass even in their 70s and 80s. Sadly, many people receive wrong advice that goes against modern science and unintentionally speeds up their own decline. We're about to reveal a very common mistake you're probably making every day without realizing it. This silent and dangerous error causes your muscles to weaken rapidly and is even believed to activate genes that deteriorate muscle tissue. Correcting this mistake could be the key factor determining whether you enjoy a healthy, independent old age or end up dependent on your children's care. Please like and subscribe to see more educational health videos like this if you care about your well-being. First, I'll share an excellent habit that helps older adults restore muscle strength back to what it was at age 40, and that habit is 7. Using good stress to become healthier. Hormetic stress. It might sound strange, but the healthiest super seniors over 80 years old often deliberately put themselves in slightly stressful situations that scientists call hormetic stress. This is not the bad kind of stress like anxiety or fatigue, but rather small challenges that make the body stronger. In the literal sense, Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher, said, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, especially when it comes to muscles." Experts at the Buck Institute for Research on Aging have shown that short-term exposure to certain types of stress activates cellular defense mechanisms, helping to preserve and even enhance muscle function and growth in people over 80 years old. The first method is temperature variation. Super seniors often try taking a slightly cold shower, just for 30 seconds to 1 minute at the end of their bath, or soaking in cool water for a while. This helps the body create a special type of fat called brown fat, which warms up the muscles and makes them stronger, while also producing a substance that protects muscles from weakening. Conversely, super seniors also enjoy hot baths or sitting in saunas. A study from Finland showed that 10 years of regular sauna use, 4 to 7 times a week, is associated with a 40% reduction in muscle loss compared to those who do not use saunas. Intermittent fasting, or eating within a strictly limited time window, is the second hormetic stressor. To improve muscle quality and stimulate autophagy, the cellular cleaning process, super seniors restrict their food intake to a narrow window of 8 to 10 hours each day without causing weight loss. This technique improves mitochondrial function in muscles by 10% in just 12 weeks. According to research from the Salk Institute, muscle contractions, though fleeting and intense, are the third hormetic stressor, powerful but transient muscle contractions. A common form of exercise is performing isometric exercises, such as pushing or pulling against a fixed object to the limit for 5 to 10 seconds at maximum speed. These short but intense muscle contractions communicate with muscle cells to keep them large and active without putting too much stress on the joints. The important thing is the infrequency of these stresses, because they need to be short and followed by adequate recovery time. When done correctly, these controlled stresses activate longevity genes like FOXOs and sirtuins, with the main goal of maintaining muscle mass as we age. Try getting used to these habits gradually, until you adapt. The goal is gentle, beneficial stress, not overloading your system. 6. Timing of protein consumption. Protein is absorbed by the body through foods such as pork, beef, chicken, eggs, milk, etc., contributing to building and developing muscles. Consuming more protein helps muscles recover and gain strength, but the timing of protein consumption for the elderly is extremely important. Scientists call the gradual decline in the ability to utilize protein with age anabolic resistance. Research in the Journal of Nutrition indicates that, contrary to popular belief, older adults should not consume all their protein at once, but should spread it evenly throughout the day. Now, we will come to the important part. A period for protein synthesis to occur in the muscles of older adults is about 3 to 4 hours after each meal. Most elderly people make the mistake of loading all their protein at dinner, meaning they do not consume enough protein throughout the day to develop muscles. The best method is to split meals throughout the day and try to consume 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal. Therefore, instead of eating cereal or toast in the morning, older adults can consider eating eggs, Greek yogurt, or a protein smoothie. Lean meat, fish, milk, or plant-based protein sources like beans should maintain this trend during lunch and dinner. When compared to consuming the same amount of protein concentrated in fewer meals, this scheduling technique alone can enhance muscle protein synthesis by up to 25%. In a 12-week study conducted by the University of Texas, participants who followed this method gained an average of 1/2 pound of muscle without changing any other aspect of their lifestyle. Thus, it's not just enough to eat protein for muscles to grow stronger or continue to atrophy. The timing of when you eat also makes a difference. And next up will be a habit that helps older adults significantly enhance their muscles. Let me give you a hint. It's even more important and necessary than habits number 7 and number 6. Please comment with the number 1 to let us know that you truly care about your health, and especially about your muscles. 5. Optimizing vitamin D levels. Did you know that over 80% of older adults lack what is called the muscle vitamin? Vitamin D is provided through skin synthesis using UV rays from summer sunlight and, to a lesser extent, through absorption from food. A deficiency of vitamin D in older adults can lead to bone and joint problems, increasing the risk of fractures and instability in movement. Therefore, regularly supplementing vitamin D is essential for the elderly. Scientists at Harvard University have discovered that vitamin D activates genes that directly help muscles become stronger. Moreover, the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, indicates that older adults with excellent vitamin D levels have 25% greater muscle strength compared to those who are deficient in vitamin D. Not only that, they also walk more steadily, react faster, and fall less often, something that every elderly person fears. Vitamin D deficiency is defined as a level below 20 nanograms per milliliter. Meanwhile, healthy super seniors aged 80 to 90 almost always have ideal levels above 40 nanograms per milliliter. With benefits like making muscles stronger and bones healthier, do you think supplementing vitamin D is extremely important for people aged 60 and above? If so, please comment with the number 9. So, how can we get enough vitamin D? For older adults, sun exposure is the most natural and easiest way to supplement vitamin D, simply by taking a walk in the early morning or late afternoon, or sitting in a chair to bask in the morning sun. However, health research experts say, as we age, our skin doesn't produce as much vitamin D from sunlight as it did when we were younger. At age 65, the skin only produces half as much as it did at age 20, so relying solely on sunlight is not enough. Therefore, we can consider eating more foods rich in vitamin D, such as mackerel, herring, egg yolks, or fresh milk. Simple, familiar things that have an incredibly significant impact. But to be more certain, older adults can also choose to take vitamin D supplements of about 2,000 to 4,000 units per day, much higher than the old recommendation of 600 units. However, you should visit a doctor for a blood test beforehand to know how much you need, as each body requires a specific amount of vitamin D. Additionally, there is a small note when using vitamin D as follows. To achieve the best effect for bones and muscles, vitamin D needs a companion, which is vitamin K2, to help direct calcium into the bones instead of letting it accumulate in blood vessels. Vitamin K2 is found in fermented foods like pickles, cheese, or small amounts of animal meat. Therefore, if you lack K2 and take a lot of vitamin D, it could be harmful instead of beneficial to your health. And to know how much vitamin D your body needs, consult a doctor for a blood test. Then, to prevent muscle atrophy, try to maintain vitamin D levels above 40 milligrams per milliliter. Fourth habit of keeping the body free from inflammation for lasting muscles. Healthy super-elders have a common point that few people pay attention to. Their bodies rarely suffer from inflammation. Health researchers say that muscle inflammation in the elderly is a condition in which the body's immune system attacks its own muscles and skeletal muscle clusters, groups of muscles used for movement. This is a pathology related to the muscular system and can cause symptoms such as chronic inflammation, swelling, muscle weakness, and may lead to difficulties performing activities like walking, climbing stairs, or even doing simple activities such as cleaning the house, eating, moving around inside the house. But stopping there is an even more dangerous truth that muscle protein breaks down at a faster rate than the body's replacement ability due to this silent inflammation process. It also blocks signals that help muscles get stronger after exercise or eating protein. Elderly people with the highest inflammation index lose muscle mass 3 times faster than those with the lowest level, according to an important study by Tufts University, regardless of how they train or eat. Below are some anti-inflammatory tricks regularly used by super-elders, which are simple but extremely effective in helping the elderly keep their bodies free from inflammation for lasting muscles. First, their top priority is having a good sleep. They achieve this by going to bed at the same time every night and sleeping in a completely dark room. Insomnia can accelerate muscle atrophy by increasing inflammatory cytokines up to 40%. Second, they pay close attention to their digestive joints condition. Changes in gut microbiota associated with aging directly cause systemic inflammation. According to new studies from University of California, the diets of elderly people include more than 30 times per week various plant foods, fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, including natural probiotics, and many different fiber sources consumed daily. Third, they plan exercise intensity carefully. Regular physical activity is essential, but older adults should avoid high-intensity training because it can worsen inflammation. The average super-aged person exercises moderately most days, with short periods of high intensity, interspersed once or twice a week. Finally, but no less importantly, they regularly consume some anti-inflammatory substances such as omega-3 fatty acids, 2 to 3 grams daily from fatty fish, or turmeric and polyphenol-rich foods like berries, green tea, and extra virgin olive oil. One study showed that doing so for 12 weeks reduced body inflammation by up to 29%. Next is a habit used daily by superelders that helps them have young and healthy muscles, like when they were 40 years old, a habit every elderly person should know about. But before learning about it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss useful health videos we continuously update every day. 3. Habit of taking a specific vitamin daily. First, cannot ignore magnesium. Although most dietary recommendations focus on macronutrients such as protein, carbohydrates, and fats, superelders with superior muscle strength pay attention to specific micronutrients that support protein synthesis and muscle function. To allow your body to make the most of the protein you eat and the benefits of exercise, these essential nutrients act as facilitators. Without them, no amount of protein or workout can prevent muscle loss. Researchers at University of Vermont call magnesium the forgotten electrolyte for muscle health. A study showed people with sufficient magnesium grip 30% stronger and move more agilely. Besides that, supplementing magnesium in diet is very important for reducing risk of Alzheimer's disease, a very dangerous disease for elderly people. Therefore, supplementing magnesium in meals is especially important and simpler than we think, since it exists in most common daily foods, such as dark green vegetables like spinach and mustard greens, plus cashew nuts, pumpkin seeds. If you find magnesium extremely necessary and value your health, I believe these foods will be on your table today. Next is creatine. Compared to strength training alone, creatine supplementation significantly improves muscle mass, strength, and cognitive function in older adults. McMaster University, 2015. The production of muscle energy and water content inside muscle cells can be enhanced with a daily intake from 3 to 5 grams, creating an anabolic environment. Lastly is vitamin B12. When aging, weakened stomach leads to poor absorption of B12, especially if taking diabetes or stomach medicines. Lack of B12 makes muscles tired and nerves slow. Superelders use good types of B12 like methylcobalamin found in fish, eggs, or supplements. Additionally, zinc found in oysters, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, in fish, shrimp, and rohu fish. In vegetables is also very important. A study at Tuke University showed people with enough of these nutrients keep better muscles by 22% over 5 years. Then supplement through natural food, which is best, both cheap and delicious. 2. Habit of keeping nerves and muscles talking well to each other. This is an interesting fact that most elderly people do not know. When muscles atrophy, it affects much more than just individual fibers. Usually, the weakest link is the link connecting muscles with the nervous system. The neuromuscular junctions are like electrical outlets supplying power to muscles. When they begin to degenerate, occurring much faster after age 60, no amount of protein in your diet or exercise can help the brain connect with muscles. According to new research from University of Michigan, extremely healthy super-aged people have much better neuromuscular connections than average elderly people. Even more interestingly, researchers have identified some behaviors that can preserve or even repair these important links. In the first session, you will coordinate and accurately perform a series of predetermined movements. Research has proven that compared to regular strength training or even just walking, activities like Tai Chi, dancing, tennis, or even table tennis can enhance brain pathways to muscles to strengthen neuromuscular connections. These exercises require your nervous system to recruit muscle fibers in certain patterns. Researchers in Year Missing showed that compared to older adults who only engage in regular exercise, those participating in coordination-demanding activities twice a week maintained better neuromuscular connections by 31%. Chemicals promoting neuromuscular health are the focus of the second method. Evidence shows that alpha-lipoic acid and acetyl L-carnitine can prevent oxidative damage to the neuromuscular junctions. The fact that some forms of B1, such as benethamine and huperzine found in Chinese moss, can promote the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, the primary chemical responsible for muscle activation, is even more encouraging. Some breathing techniques used by superagers stimulate the vagus nerve, supporting regulation of neuromuscular transmission. Just 5 minutes per day, you can increase muscle neural activity up to 15% by practicing simple breathing techniques like box breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts. Perhaps most fascinating is the link between mental activity and maintaining neuromuscular connections. Columbia University conducted an important study showing that muscle function in older adults is much better preserved when they regularly engage in cognitively challenging activities. Because the neuromuscular system and brain share many neural pathways, researchers discovered that brain training has a direct positive impact on the neuromuscular system. Using these neuromuscular preservation techniques, superelders can maintain strong brain connections into their 80s and beyond, allowing them to effectively recruit muscle fibers. I have just shared many habits to develop and restore muscles for elderly people. Do you remember what habits those were? Which habit impressed you most and caught your attention? Please comment below so we know you really care about your health. Right now, the most important habit will be revealed. The habit elderly people will feel truly happy to know about and practice every day. 1. Endurance exercise built over time. The most important habit distinguishing extremely healthy 80-year-olds from others of the same age is a habit experts at Tufts University consider the strongest anti-aging medicine ever found. We already have this habit. Endurance exercise built on itself, but not in the way most elderly do. By using targeted resistance training programs, super-aged individuals with strength levels surpassing their actual age resist biological processes of muscle atrophy. Most older adults never learn this basic truth. Your muscles work on a use-it-or-lose-it principle with one important exception. To maintain them, you must gradually challenge them. Maintaining the same moderate weight week after week, walking or water exercise will not be enough to preserve muscle mass over age 60. What's special about the method used by superagers? To start, focus is on intensity, not duration. 2 weeks of high-intensity resistance training to exhaustion leads to more muscle gain in elderly people than 5 weeks of moderate-intensity training. According to research at McMaster University, the most important thing is reaching a point where you cannot perform another repetition with proper form. Exercise physiologists call this temporary muscle failure. This triggers protein synthesis in muscles within 72 hours after exercise by sending strong anabolic signals. Second, superagers emphasize compound movements using multiple muscle groups simultaneously. Their mobility and joint health must be considered when designing reduced versions of squats, deadlifts, rows, push and pull exercises. Compared to isolated actions like bicep curls or leg extensions, these movements produce stronger hormonal responses. Third, they use progressive overload, including gradually increasing difficulty over time. Using the same weight month after month causes stagnation because your muscles adapt to any pressure you place on them. Superagers eagerly track their workouts and push themselves to do a little more each time. Fourth point, they emphasize eccentric or lowering parts of exercises known to help strengthen elderly muscles. Slowly lowering weights adds pressure on muscles without putting too much strain on joints. Remarkably, this method is even effective for those falling behind schedule. Older adults who began a progressive resistance training program lasting 12 weeks increased their strength by 35% and gained an average of 3.3 pounds of muscle, according to revolutionary research from the University of Alabama. Alongside these remarkable changes were increases in cognitive function, bone density, and blood sugar control. So, what is the typical mistake retirees make? The problem is, many think resistance training is too risky or outdated for them. The real danger lies in resistance training being necessary to prevent muscle loss, which increases risk of weakness, falls, and dependency issues. Make progressive resistance exercise a habit if you do only one thing from this video. If you want to make sure you do everything right, see a trainer first. Then gradually increase intensity, suitable for your fitness level. Just 2 30-minute sessions per week can profoundly impact your aging speed. These are 7 habits supported by research, explaining the amazing muscle strength some 80-year-olds still maintain. Choose one habit you can easily start today and gradually adopt others too. Effort made today building your strength and independence will pay off long term. It's time for you to speak up. Old age does not have to be sad or quietly withdrawn. Old age is when we can still stand firmly in the yard, holding a little grandchild with a bright laugh. It is when we make a pot of tea with our own hands, open the door filled with afternoon sunlight, and feel a peace inside like in our youth. And to keep those seemingly simple things, sometimes all it takes is a small, quiet habit. Silent, but full of strength. Not to live longer, but so that every day we are alive is a day we can walk on our own 2 feet, still able to love, care for, and embrace what we cherish most. If you have been maintaining that habit, please share your story in the comments below. Because, who knows, you may be the inspiration that helps someone else rise up and start again through persistence and self-love. And if this video touched your heart, please hit like and subscribe so we can continue accompanying each other to live an old age that is not only healthy, but also beautiful, free, and full of pride.